this Las Vegas neighborhood.
I love it.
So it's a neighborhood in Las Vegas.
Okay.
Every street is named after Pokemon.
I love it.
You love it?
I love it.
Catch me at the corner of Charmander Lane and Jigglypuff Place.
Jigglypuff.
What is Jigglypuff? We're wondering what's wrong with the world?
It's this little pink puffball who sings you to sleep.
That's his superpower?
First of all, don't assume it's gender, David. Okay? Okay? We don't know what it is.
That's what I'm talking about.
We don't know what it is.
Wrong.
But it sings you to sleep. Most annoying thing to fight in Pokemon. I just can't believe you didn't play Pokemon, girl.
Hold on.
You missed so much.
No, I was. No, I did not.
I missed so much.
Nothing.
Dude, I'm telling
nothing.
you, Pokemon's legit.
I mean, I used to see those guys doing the cards on my way.
I didn't play the cards.
You sound like you.
I'm the Game Boy.
What do you
mean the Game Boy?
The hardest one to fight.
Not the most annoying one to fight. Because you'll be so you battle each other, right? Ash Ketchum. He's like the Pokemon trainer. All right. Then you have Pokemon that you battle. All right. So they all have attacks. So Jigglypuff's attack was she sings.
Jigglypuff's attack. Is it she?
I think,
you don't know.
I mean, no one really knows. But she sings you to sleep, Dave.
What about Watford Place?
I don't know what that is.
Watford Place.
That's not
Squirtle Lane.
Is it War Turtle? It's Watford. What is that? That's not Pokemon.
Maybe that's just the normal road. You got Snorlax.
Yeah, it's like Charmander, Watford, Squirtle, Bulbasaur.
Serenity Place is the name of this
know what Serenity
place
is
in Las Vegas.
You missed so much.
I didn't.
I got to get you a Game Boy.
I had a Game Boy.
I got to get you. What was the best
NBA
one?
game with
I
Larry
think
Bird.
The red Charizard one was the best one to play.
I have no frame of reference.
Yeah, you missed a lot. All right, Tennessee police conducted a welfare check on Grizzlies star Ja Morant following cryptic social media posts. Surprise, surprise. The Florida Panthers sweep the Carolina Hurricanes en route to the Stanley Cup Finals. And Jason Whitlock from Blaze Media joins us to discuss the biggest stories in sports. I'm Blaine Crane. Welcome to Crane & Company. Yesterday, the superstar Ja Morant was once again in the news, but not for dunking a basketball or hitting a game-winning shot. Instead, he garnered attention for multiple mysterious posts he shared on Instagram, which prompted the Tennessee police to conduct a welfare check on him. The more we discuss Ja Morant, the more it appears he's turning into Antonio Brown. It's incredibly disheartening to witness someone who came from a good home, attended a private school, hell, even had a basketball court in his backyard, transform into a contrived gangster. Ja Morant urgently needs to realize his surroundings and the consequences of his actions. Memphis is not a place to be taken lightly, and if he continues on this path, it could have catastrophic implications. The only individuals to blame in this situation are Ja Morant himself. There's nothing more genuine and meaningful than privately contacting your parents and your daughter instead of publicly bidding them farewell on Instagram. Texting or calling them should be enough. Ja Morant was fully aware of his impact his post would have, and it signifies another unfortunate step in the wrong direction for him. The one most negatively affected by this is the Memphis Grizzlies. They have more money invested in him than Samwise Gamgee took in the FTX scandal. It is crucial for the Grizzlies to promptly find a suitable trade partner, and in my opinion, they need to do it quickly. David Cohn, Ja Morant.
What is going on?
Surprise, surprise.
I don't think they can trade him, though.
Yeah, they can.
With that max deal?
Yeah, someone will take him.
Max deal
someone
now?
will take him. Send him to Canada.
You might not be wrong.
Send him to Canada. At least the tighter gun laws.
What does that mean? The Raptors?
Yeah.
That's the only team.
Yeah, I would say the Raptors or maybe the Miami Heat.
No, why would the Heat bring that toxicity into their place? Look what they got going. They're about to
I know, but I mean, but still, how long do you think you can run with this group? You're going to run with a bunch of undrafted guys every year?
No, but I love the Antonio Brown reference because at first it was just, this guy thinks he's something he's not and he has some guns and stuff like that. This thing yesterday, what was he tweeting out?
Well, he said, bye, mom.
Bye, mom.
Bye, pop, was dad. And bye, baby girl, I love you. And then put just bye.
And then the police went and checked on him.
And the police did a welfare check on him.
That's the kind of stuff we were talking about with Antonio Brown. Like, man, you need some help.
It's
we shouldn't even be talking about basketball.
Like, it's scary. Like, it's mental health stuff, right? And it's just so, like, the thing with me is just like it's nothing more cornier, in my opinion, to a guy who came out of a good house, good spot, good neighborhood, to a good school, to make it, and then completely act different than the way he was raised. Like, that's, to me, that's like the frat boy, you know, do you know who my dad is type of stuff. Like, you think you can just get away with everything. Everyone says yes to you, and you get to a spot where you look around, and hopefully John Morant gets to this place. And I get getting off social media. I get it, 100%. But you don't have to make it so public. He knew what he was doing. He knew exactly what he was doing.
I hate it for the Grizzlies, too, because they got the pick right. You know, you don't always know how guys, they got the pick right when they took him. I think it was number 2 overall that season. And then you have this team with Jaren Jackson Jr. You were the number 2 overall seed in the West, you know, lose to the Lakers. And it's like we talked about before, the last time he got in trouble, which seemed like just a few days ago. It's like, it's already hard enough to win at the highest level. Look at this Suns team.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Chris Paul, Kevin Durant, you know, you got Devin Booker. I mean, look at the Lakers with Anthony Davis and LeBron James, all these guys. None of them are playing in the finals. It's already hard enough when you have your priorities straight. Forget about when you want to run around doing stuff like this.
And the thing about it, like, you're playing with your life, man.
True.
That's what you're doing.
And we got Jason Whitlock coming on later who talks about that a little bit.
I hope. And no one's praying on the downfall of John Morant. I promise you that. The dude's, I think, can be a generational talent. I really do. I think he's a better Derrick Rose. I really do. But through injuries and through this stuff, if you're the Memphis Grizzlies, man, like, you're worried.
You think he's better than Derrick Rose?
I think he has the potential to be better than Derrick Rose.
Just because Derrick Rose got injured, or even pre-injury?
Even pre-injury. I think so. If he can develop a better jump shot, a three-point shot, I think he'd be
well, if he can do those things, for sure. I mean, Derrick Rose was so good.
He was.
So good.
He really was. Man.
So we got Celtics Heat tonight, right?
Yep.
We're going to preview that. We got some NHL to talk about, all sorts of stuff. But first,
tell me.
We got to talk about Good Ranchers, brother.
Please.
Okay? Hey, Memorial Day is a time to honor and remember our brave servicemen and women who made the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom. It's also time to come together as a nation, gather with loved ones, and enjoy some mouth-watering meals. And what better way to do that with premium 100% American meat from Good Ranchers. Good Ranchers isn't like the other meat delivery companies that import a majority of their products. They are passionate about delivering the finest 100% American meat right to your doorstep. And here's something special. You staying with me here, Blaine?
Yes, sir.
Good Ranchers proudly offers a 10% discount to all past and present service members as a way of saying thank you for your service, but that's not all. In honor of Memorial Day, Good Ranchers is giving our listeners an exclusive opportunity. When you use code BOOSTER, BOOSTER, you can save 20% site-wide, and it's not too late to get this steak and this chicken ready for Memorial Day. So fire up the grill on Memorial Day with your family and friends, knowing that the meat you're enjoying is not only the highest quality, but also supports American ranchers. Visit goodranchers.com today and use promo code BOOSTER to save 20% site-wide. The more you stock up on, the more you'll save during their Memorial Day sale. That's promo code BOOSTER, BOOSTER, at goodranchers.com. Good Ranchers, Blaine, American meat delivered.
Good. So good. The butcher's box, got a chicken box sent to me. Like every night I eat Good Ranchers. And the great thing about it is, man, they support our military. Right? That's what really gets me going, because like those guys, man, like we sit here and do a sports show, Dave. The only reason we get to do that because people leave their families. They go put their life on the line for this country, and the way this country's been acting lately, man, I really feel for those guys.
And then you get a company like this that says we want, like, the quality of our meat matters and honoring our service members matter, and it really is truly like a win-win-win.
For sure, Michael Scott.
Exactly. You get great meat, you know where it's coming from, local farmers, and they support service members.
And hopefully they have a pretty good race this weekend.
That's right.
You know, maybe Scotty
500 Good Ranchers going to be up there.
Last time I went, he got a dub. It's pretty sweet.
All right. Well, you keep us posted on that. What's the club saying?
All right, let's get to some donations here. First of all, obviously, I'm going to make a poll, and it's going to be who's the best Pokemon, just so David has no idea how to answer it. Let's go to Josh Hall, $20.
I don't like that one.
Huh?
I don't like that.
Why not?
Because I don't know what you're talking about.
This blows my mind. Let's go to Josh Hall, $20 donation. Josh, appreciate it, brother. Says, hey, guys, love the show. Always listening when I'm working. Just want to get y'all's opinion on what's wrong with the Braves right now.
The Braves finally won a game against the Dodgers.
The Nerfy
there
hit.
We go. Keep from getting swept. Did the Nerfy hit?
The Nerfy hit. Yeah.
Oh, wow, good.
Went 1-1. It's nothing special.
Let's look at the Braves here. I mean, one thing, they're playing better competition here down the stretch. Now, they still won their series against the Orioles, which that didn't used to mean a lot. But the Orioles are a good baseball team. They won their series against the Marlins. They won their series against the Rangers, who are leading their division. They won their series against the Mariners, who are not playing that well, but still, they're a good ball club. And, they lost here to the Dodgers, but they didn't get swept. The one that still shocks me is they got swept 3 in a row by the Blue Jays on the road. How are you feeling about the Braves right now?
Well, the thing about me, I'm not worried about their lineup when it comes to hitting.
Not at all.
They can stroke it.
I mean, Matt Olson's going to...
Yeah, they're fine.
Like,
when it comes to teams like this, I don't think their starting pitching is a problem. It's their bullpen. Right? I just don't trust their bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Especially when you get deep into series and when you start playing real, everyone's good in the major league, obviously, but teams aren't. There's levels to it. All right, and it's the same thing when it comes to football. You're only good as your backup quarterback, and in baseball, you're only good as your bullpen. So that's what I'll be interested to see down the stretch when it comes to the Braves, is how can their bullpen, can they stay healthy? All right, if they can stay healthy and their bullpen can get a little bit better, I believe in the Braves. Guys, it's going to be a long season. All right? And we've seen the Braves play well. So I don't think if you're a Braves fan, you should panic in any way.
And part of it, too, is when you're building these teams and building these rosters and, you think you're going to have the likes of a Mike Soroka, and you're going to have a Max Fried, and, you're dealing with these injuries, especially, you're talking about the starting pitching is fine. I don't think it's been the problem, with Spencer Strider coming on and the way Bryce Elder's been throwing, but not having some of those guys that you've built the team around is not helping.
You think so?
For sure.
I mean, long season.
Yeah.
Where are the Braves right now?
I mean, they're still 30-19.
Yeah,
they're first in the NL East, but
calm down. Don't hit the panic button.
Who asked that question?
That was Josh Hall's donation.
See, he wants us to be the best team in baseball, and I feel it, Josh.
I get it.
I feel you. What else is it?
Let's go to Matty Ice, $10 donation. Matty, appreciate it, brother. He says, morning, fellas. Morning to you. On vacation in Orlando, so I'm finally able to catch a live stream again. Hope all is well. Much love. Keep up the great work. #Country Roads. A little Orlando action, a little vacay.
Man, a little vacation in Orlando.
God, man.
Maybe play some golf.
Oh, dude. Hey, you played well last time we played. And at Top Golf, you were slinging that thing.
A little bit.
Let's go to Mad Veg. He says, I'm concerned that Ja will be dragged from greatness because of the people that surround him. He's not 19, 18 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Ja Morant's a grown man, okay? Sooner or later, you get to a phase in your life where you look at the surroundings. You look at the people you talk to every day. And if you can't figure out that the people around you are the problem, then I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, I don't know what to tell you. What are your, who's reaching out to you, right? What's your dad saying? Right? What's your mom saying? All right? You have a baby girl, right? Yeah. What would your baby girl think of all this?
Yeah.
And that's the thing about, we might not see Ja play another basketball game.
He wants to pretend. He wants to pretend to be something he's not. Anything else in there?
Let me go to the Daily Wire chart. Bradley Cogo says, I wouldn't be surprised if you see more of this type of behavior from professional athletes. They're just surrounded by yes people, and social media just exacerbates the problem of times 1,000 and will egg them on no matter what they do. Look, man, you get a certain amount of money, everyone turns into a yes man. 100%.
Yeah.
But you got to have those couple people in your life who'll sit you down and actually talk to you straight up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, or you will fall into traps like this. And we're seeing Ja Morant fall into a trap. Everyone, I go back to a Drake line. He says, when it comes to athletes, like athletes want to be rappers and rappers want to be athletes, right? It's just something, I don't know why, they just coexist together. So am I surprised by this? No, but Ja Morant needs to figure it out quick.
Mm-hmm. Let's move on to rapid fire here. Heat Celtics.
Here we go.
Game 5 in Boston. Celtics are heavily favored. What was the line? 8.5?
It's 8.5 over under 215.
Heat plus 235.
You got to remember, I'm pretty sure like the Celtics have been favored even up 3 games.
Yeah.
So I mean, I see your bet
down
up
3
there.
games.
I see your bet up there. You feeling?
We'll get to that.
You feeling? What are you feeling?
But we'll get to my bet.
I like the
later.
Celtics in this game.
You do at home?
I
thought you said the Heat would go on the road and get.
I thought about it. Well, I thought about it because just the way the series got played, especially where the Heat played on the road. But I feel like Jason Tatum shows up in this game. I feel like the two stars for the Celtics are going to show up in this game. I feel like the Heat are going to close it out back at home before they get to Game 7. Because look, like this will be a catastrophic failure if you're the Heat and you're up 3-0 and you let the Celtics come back and beat you.
And it could happen.
Oh, for sure it could happen.
So what do the Celtics need to do to make that happen, other than not turn the basketball over, which we saw them not do that? I mean, they had 10 turnovers last game, which was, much fewer than what we had grown up.
I just think I think you need both your stars to show up if you're the Celtics. One, Al Horford, get away from the 3-point line.
Okay, I agree.
Okay? Get away from the 3-point line. Come inside. Play like a dirty old vet. You got to get dirty to beat the Heat. The Heat are a grungy team. All right, they like to get in there and mix it up. All right, I think Jimmy Buckets will show up. It's the way he's been played in the playoffs. But I think that the Celtics play cleaner basketball. I think they play a little bit more of a two-man game, hopefully with Al Horford and Jason Tatum. But I feel like Jason Tatum, this game's another game where he shows up and he's a difference.
What do you mean shows up?
Like 35 plus.
Really?
Yeah.
On the Horford line, look, he's still going to take a couple threes. And like we said last game, he went 50%. I think he was 3 of 6, something like that. Against a team like the 76ers, you don't mind it as much, right? If you want to kind of run that stretch 5, get Joel Embiid away from the basket. But just like you said, against the Heat, I need Al Horford down in the paint a little bit more than out at the 3-point line.
I just don't like Jason Tatum. I don't like Jason Tatum leading our teams in rebounds. All right, I don't like it.
That's not a good winning strategy.
That. All right, Al, Robert Williams, get in there, get dirty in the paint, get some boards.
So 116-99 was the last score. That was down in Miami. Like we said, Duncan Robinson 0 for 4 from 3, only had 2 points. They did get some good production. I'm talking about the Heat now from Caleb Martin. I really like this kid, Caleb Martin's game.
He's nice. He's going to be a good player.
So I don't know. We'll see. Anything else you're looking for in this game?
I just wanted to remind people that the Heat are doing this without Tyler Hero.
And what's the status there? Because he's about comeback time.
He's
right?
out this game. Right?
Okay.
He's labeled as out this game. But I'm saying, Tyler Hero's a 20-point game a guy. 20 points a game. All right? So you take that out of this Heat lineup, that's how much Jimmy Buckets has haven't been carrying this. And I know Gabe Vincent had a 29-point outing last time they played, or 2 times they played ago. But still, the way the Heat are doing, I think it's just another kudos to Spoelstra from the Heat and what he does from a schematic standpoint on both sides of the ball.
So 8.5, man.
Wow.
You don't like the Heat plus 8.5?
No, I feel like the Heat cover, right? I feel like the Heat cover, but I do feel like the Celtics will win.
All right, let's go to the NHL.
Did you watch this?
Man, the NHL?
Dude.
I watched it.
I caught the half of the second period and the third period. What a game.
I mean, it was 2-0 early.
Yeah.
The Canes get that goal. It was 2-0 Panthers. Canes get that goal late in the first and then another one early in the second. And now this is a sweep. Florida Panthers, 4 straight games over the Carolina Hurricanes. Every game by 1 goal. Every game. Do we have the clip of this game-winning goal in the final seconds last night?
Look, some teams make plays when it matters most. We were talking about this earlier when we got in here. You've probably been involved in a lot of 1-run, 1-point games, right? There's certain teams when it comes down to clutch moments, all right, that one clutch at bat, that one clutch shot that know how to get it done. And the Canes, for not even 1 game, all right, for 4 games, all right, couldn't get it done against the Florida Panthers. I tell you what, the Florida Panthers are good now.
They're really good.
They're really good. And I know Vegas is looking great. Probably about to sweep the Stars. That's 3-0-2, I believe.
So that one's in Dallas tonight. Vegas is up 3-0. You think you calling a sweep in that one too?
Beat them 4-0 last time.
As close as these Stanley Cup playoffs were at the beginning in the first 2 rounds,
These are
and a lot of overtimes, we might see 2 sweeps in both the conference finals.
Butt whoopings. Not even close. Not even close. Can you imagine? Well, this is why I go back to if you're the Bruins, man, like you want the Panthers to win, but you're just like, damn.
Man,
you give us these guys.
First round?
That's why sometimes when it comes to playoff, the toughest matchup you'll run into is a first-round team. Ask a lot of teams who play in March Madness, in March in college basketball. Sometimes those first couple rounds, you run into a squad who might not be as talented as you, but are just playing at top performance. And that's what you're seeing with the Florida Panthers right now, man.
No doubt, man. It's going to be a fun one to watch tonight. So I want to talk about Patrick Mahomes real quick. There was a story yesterday that came out where Patrick Mahomes said he values Super Bowls and legacy over the money, because you have people keep asking him, hey, after you signed your huge, $500 million 10-year deal, you keep slipping down the money list in terms of NFL quarterbacks. And I thought the way that Patrick Mahomes responded to this and saying that he is more concerned with legacy and winning, and he has more than enough money, and he's proud of the deal that he signed. Like, I love hearing that stuff from Patrick Mahomes, because it's so true. You don't see this guy out, obsessively concerned every year with, oh, you know what? I know I signed the highest deal in NFL history, but I need to be the highest guy the next year too, and the next year too. He signed his deal. He's got a lot of this Tom Brady mentality in him. He signed his deal, got paid a whole bunch of money. He's going to continue to get paid a lot of money with these rolling guarantees in the contract, and he's singularly focused on winning football games, and that's why he's a two-time Super Bowl champ.
So we're saying when he gets his new contract, all right, he's not going to be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL.
Well, when's he going to get his new contract? He signed a 10-year deal.
Well, I would say, is there something built in it after like the third or fourth year?
That's what I'm saying. They signed it with these like rolling guarantees.
Okay.
Where if he's on the roster that first day of the NFL, the new year in the NFL, that's all guaranteed.
Look, Patrick's a multiple Super Bowl winner, but if it cares that much to you, man, play for free. Play for free,
nothing
Pat.
in between that?
Play for free, dude. I mean, look, you got enough money already. Look, the thing about Patrick is, man, he's always been a stand-up guy. I mean, what other than his brother who's going through all that right now? Have you ever saw Patrick Mahomes in the news for doing something?
No.
You think he's Tom Brady-esque?
Yeah, I mean, he said here, it's not about being the highest paid guy. It's not about making a ton of money. I've made enough money where I'll be set for the rest of my life.
I mean, you got to love that if you're Andy Reid. If you're Andy Reid, you're just like, yeah.
You gotta love the whole situation you have going right now.
And they won it again without Tyreek Hill. They're going to be just as good this upcoming year.
Let's stay in the NFL. We were talking about the punter, Matt Araiza, who was released from the Bills a couple of weeks ago after the story came out about the potential gang rape situation with him at San Diego State. Come to find out, he wasn't even at the alleged party during the time of this interaction. Well, we were saying, do you think Matt's going to play in the NFL again? The Jets are giving him a tryout. They're going to work him out this week.
Good for the Jets. Good for the Jets.
Will they sign him? Should they sign him?
They should sign him. The kid did nothing wrong. I
would like to see the Bills step up here.
I know.
And
the Bills are usually a team that would. Especially with Sean McDermott, their head coach.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought he's always put the players first. I never heard of a Bills player come out and say anything bad about Sean McDermott. So this is surprising to me. But if you're Matt, man, the feelings that must be going through this guy's head right now. You were proven guilty before. I mean, any evidence was shown up, and then the evidence actually shows up. The Bills don't take you back. But the Jets.
Let's see about the Jets.
New York team, baby.
Putting a nice little roster together over there with Aaron Rodgers in town now. I want to move on to the Patriots quickly. So the New England Patriots are losing 2 days of their OTAs due to a violation of offseason rules. This explains the team's announcement about Thursday's practice being called off. Question for you here. Is this just another example of where the Patriots are always just, they're trying to get a leg up on everyone. They're scheming and breaking rules and getting in trouble. I don't know. I've been looking. I can't find exactly what they did. Or two, is this just an example of, the players union, the NFLPA, just overly obsessing to not have these players do anything, any practice, be on site at all?
I don't know. If it was some team other than the Patriots, maybe I'd say that. The Patriots are always up to something. They're always scheming up to something, whether it's stealing plays or stealing calls or, deflating balls or how it goes. But if it was any other team, I'd understand it. We could talk about the players union, but no. Don't put it past the Patriots to get up to some trickery. Because look at Bill. I mean, he's always up to something. I get it. Look, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. All right? These guys.
What is if you're not cheating, you're not trying?
Look, you're always trying to.
Is that how you live your life?
You're trying to bend the rules a little bit.
Are you robbing?
Right? Everyone's trying to find loopholes in the tax code, Dave. That's
Don't
why.
Talk to me about taxes.
That's why they're there. That's why they're there. So depending on what they did, okay, I don't know exactly what they did, but in my opinion, the Patriots is probably the Patriots' fault at the end of the day. I'm sure the players are like, darn it. We had to miss 2 days? Oh, no.
All right, last one in the NFL. Adrian Peterson says he has not officially retired. You know, when I read this story, I was kind of saddened because I'm like, man, this guy is possibly the greatest running back in NFL history. Certainly one of the greatest running backs in NFL history. It's like guys like that deserve to just go out on top however they want. He said, I'm not even officially retired.
Well, if there's anybody that could, I got to look how old AP is. If there's anybody that could do it, it's that freak of nature right there. See, he's one of those guys who's going to be 60 and probably look the exact same.
He's 38.
He's 38 years old, trying to play running back in the NFL. But it's not like he's not jacked. He's probably in great shape. It's like you don't forget how to run the ball. But AP, man, like sometimes you just got to call it.
It's hard to him up, man.
All right. Sometimes you're on that 13th hole. All right. It starts pouring rain. All right. And you just got to call it. Let's get in. Let's go back to the clubhouse. Dude, just ride off into the sunset, man. You know, you had a hell of a career. I don't think, like, that's what scares me. That's what scared me about Tom Brady. You know, retiring, like coming out of retirement. But then he did what he did. So, I mean, you can't really blame him. But if I'm Adrian Peterson, man, I know it's always tough to hang it up, but sooner or later, it's got to be done. You think he should come back?
You think he can add some value to a team late in the season?
I mean, I don't think maybe late in the season, you know, if you're banged up at the running back position, it'll never feel bad picking up the phone and calling Adrian Peterson.
Maybe Saints if Kamara.
Well, you picked up, who did the Saints pick up? Jamal Williams?
Well, you're going to need a couple.
Yeah, that's true. Look, it could be a Jamal Williams goal line situation. All right, trust me, from a guy who had DeAndre Swift last year in fantasy, but I still did win. So the Golden Tumblers.
Do what?
In fantasy, you know what I'm talking about. Look, he'd be a great goal line back, but is he an every down back? No. There's no way.
Definitely not an every
There's no way. Not at that
All
age.
right, last one here, just quickly for the boxing world. Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. have finally agreed to fight for the welterweight unification championship, and that's going to go down on July 29th. So for our boxing fans out there, I know a lot of people have quit on boxing. I've kind of quit on boxing because it's too corrupt.
Rigged?
But this is one I've been having my eye on. I'm like, why can these two guys not fight? Sounds like it's finally going to go down between Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. on July 29th. Hint, take Terrence Crawford.
Yeah, Terrence Crawford's good at the whole...
Take Terrence Crawford.
He's good at the whole boxing
He'll hit you really hard.
Has he ever lost?
That's a good question. I don't believe so, actually.
I don't think he's ever lost. Terrence Crawford's a problem, man.
Yeah. You watch him fight?
Yeah, I've watched him fight a couple times. 34-0? I think he's 34. He might have, I don't know.
He's 39.
39.
He's 39. I think he's 39-0 with 30 knockouts.
Yeah, I don't want to fight that guy. I don't want to fight that guy, but look, they're going to get paid.
Yeah, 39-0 with 30 knockouts and 9 wins.
Are you going to watch it?
I think I'm going to watch this one.
You think you're going to watch this one?
July 29th.
How rigged
order
do you
the
think boxing is?
You know, I don't know if there are blatant fixes in boxing. There could be. Could be. But I really think that these judges, and I know we had a caller call in the other day about one of the stoppages that was really bad in one of the fights. That was the first one. I went back and watched it. It was bad. That was the first time I had seen like a referee like really get involved in a stoppage that surprised me. It's usually the judges that I have a problem when these things go to decision, which if you want to keep that from happening, knock guys out. But I think these judges are fully aware of who the promoters and who the boxing world needs to win. They need the favorite. Like they need guys who are undefeated to keep winning because in boxing, more than any other sport, except for like college football sometimes, one loss sort of, you know how one loss, it used to be in college football, really just ruins your chances of winning a national championship. It's like one loss in boxing can kind of in your career if there are other guys in that division who are already unbeaten. And so when it comes to decision, you see these judges, that plays a factor.
Could you say the same thing about the UFC?
I don't see it in UFC like that. I mean, yeah, I've watched more boxing, but now that I've started to watch more UFC, I don't see that same thing happening. Maybe part of it is because there are more knockouts maybe. So, and there's more...
I think the same thing with the UFC when it comes to boxing is like when it comes to the judges, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know. I've watched fights and thought a guy clearly won the fight. It goes to the judges, and the other guy wins.
Yeah, and look, I see it more in boxing. It's hard to score fights, so I'm not going to sit here and say it's easy. But at the same time, you know who wins a fight. Yeah. You watch two dudes fight, you know who won the fight.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
So, I mean, I don't know. I've never been a big boxing guy. I watched Terrence Crawford a couple times. I watched Floyd fight, but no, I enjoy watching it. Mm-hmm. I really enjoy watching it, but I think you're onto something a little bit when it comes to referees and judging. They always need a guy. Look, you got to sell tickets at the end of the day. So keep Terrence Crawford undefeated. But I mean, I wonder what the odds are. I wonder what the lines are on this.
I can look it up. I will probably watch this one though. And maybe get the pay-per-view. Ooh. On that. Welterweight too is just such a good division in boxing.
A little pay-per-view action?
Yeah. I don't know if they have the line. I don't think they have the line.
I think Terrence Crawford's got to be favored, obviously.
I think so. I'll look that up. Tell me what's in the Booster Club.
Let's go to Travis Elrod. He wants to know, if you're Matt Ariza, why would you even want to go back to the Bills?
That's a good point. We were talking about that the other day. Does he feel slighted? I don't know what went on behind the scenes. You could have a situation where the executives of the Bills said, hey, we have to do this from a public relations standpoint until you get everything cleared up in your personal life. And then, we want to be the first call made when everything's cleared up. That clearly is not what's happened. So I don't know. Maybe there is something to the fact that Matt's like, I want to go to any team but the Bills because they didn't stand by me. How would you feel about it?
I think it's just, it's tough because you're a punter, right? So yeah, if you're a punter, you're going to go to the team that takes you. Right, and I think that if the Bills reach back out, if it was me, and the Bills reached back out to me, apologized, and was like, hey, man, we want you to come back and punt, I think deep down, I'd be like, you know what? I'll come punt for y'all. Because I think it comes down to the relationships that you have with those coaches prior to what happened. All right, and I think Sean McDermott's usually a player's coach. That's always what we heard from Sean McDermott. And I don't think Sean McDermott was the final call on this decision. Obviously, it had to be higher up in him. So if I'm Matt Ariza and the Bills call me to come play, I'm coming to play. If anything, I think it looks better on you because the team that cut you, that thought you, that assumed you did something wrong without any evidence, backtracked, right? Apologize. Hell, I'd want a public apology.
Yeah.
100%.
I don't disagree with that.
100%.
One thing on the Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. fight, both these guys are unbeaten. Yep. Line right now, Terrence Crawford minus 112, Errol Spence Jr. minus 112.
Wow.
Even line.
Wow. I wonder what it's going to end up at.
I don't know. It's probably going to bounce around a bit.
Let's go to Cole Frink, obviously. $2 donation. Appreciate it, Cole. You know who has too many yes men? LeBron. He's mid.
Fantastic example because he's been great at one thing for his entire life. So he hasn't had to have the adversity of failing at something in his life. And by failing, I don't mean sure, he's tried to win, he's lost games, tried to win a championship in a season and failed. But I mean, he hasn't failed at the thing that he's tried to do since he was the smallest kid, right? And because you haven't had to sort of overcome that adversity and be broken and have your dreams broken and go do something else in life, it's like he thinks he's an expert at every other area of life, which is why I think we get some of the ridiculous tweets and the kneeling for the national anthem and Brittany Griner shouldn't want to come back to America. That's where I think we get that stuff from.
It's amazing how LeBron James can control a narrative, right? Have you heard, you get swept by the Nuggets, all right? And the only thing you hear after this is he retiring.
LeBron.
Not about getting swept. Didn't hear anything about him getting swept. I heard Brian Windhorst say that this was the best I've seen a team get swept ever.
Brian Windhorst?
Yeah. I was like,
Brian Windhorst,
talking about?
Who's only up there to be LeBron's puppet?
Yeah, dude, what are you talking about? But no, it wasn't the Nuggets. I haven't heard a damn thing about the Nuggets.
Brian Windhorst.
It's just been LeBron this, LeBron that.
It was a beautiful sweep. Yeah. They swept it beautifully.
Okay. Just he played well. LeBron played well, right? You can say that. Can you say that, Dave? Say LeBron played well.
LeBron played mid.
I enjoy you saying that, though. Let's go to Joshua Klon, $10 donation. Good morning, boys. Joshua, good morning to you. The reason there are more losses on UFC records is their techniques are better. You're not guaranteed a win just by boxing. You got to know BJJ, kickboxing, and wrestling.
Yeah, and I don't think these guys feel like their entire careers are ruined when they have a loss. You know, when Conor McGregor picked up a couple losses, he was still one of the biggest draws in the world in UFC. You know, I mean, it took Floyd. Floyd had to be undefeated every single week to keep that streak going, and that's just how it is in the boxing world a lot.
That is true, but I think a boxing loss probably hurts worse than UFC loss.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
your career
100% right.
Yeah,
100%. Neff Tink, good morning, gentlemen. Good morning,
Tink.
sir. 11 up to 36 today. Y'all are the best, and let's go blue.
Man, happy level up day, Neff Tink.
I'll tell you what, man.
We had lunch with Neff Tink.
Y'all are everywhere.
Yeah,
y'all are everywhere. Y'all need to get one under your belt.
Wait, did Neff Tink say go blue?
He did.
Wow.
We get some War Eagles.
Go blue, brother. No.
Please.
I love to hear that, Nathan.
Yo, that's rough. Says, what's up, y'all? Celtics big tonight. I can feel it in my bones.
Really? So there's some Celtics action in there.
Is there a little Celtics cover?
But that can't be the poll because we have to talk about Pokemon. You know,
that is the poll.
Which is not.
That is the poll.
Okay.
I changed it.
Well, that's awesome. And you know what else is awesome?
Thank you for assuming that I put the other poll out. That hurts.
You know what else is awesome?
Tell me.
Black Rifle Coffee.
It is
all right,
awesome.
which you and I both have already had a cup up today.
Give it to me.
Black Rifle Coffee, boys. As you know, Memorial Day is coming up. What better way to honor the men and women who serve than by drinking Black Rifle Coffee? Black Rifle is a veteran-founded coffee company operated by principled men and women who honor those who protect, defend, and support our country. With every purchase you make, they give back. All right, if you haven't tried Black Rifle Coffee yet, you need to. The Complete the Mission Fuel Sampler. That's Complete the Mission Fuel Sampler. Gives you a taste of the entire spectrum of Black Rifle Coffee flavor profiles, offering 4-ounce bags of light, medium, and dark roast. The Silencer Smooth, which is a family favorite of ours. AK-47 Espresso. Have you had that one yet?
Not yet.
I haven't had that one yet. Beyond Black, which I do love, and Just Black. The only hard part will be picking a favorite. So stop running out of coffee and sign up for Black Rifle Coffee Club subscription to have Black Rifle Coffee delivered straight to your door on schedule. Boys, save money and drink America's coffee. Go to blackriflecoffee.com. Use our promo code.
Do it.
Okay, Booster, BOOSTER at checkout. That's 10% off of your one-time purchase at Black Rifle Coffee, all right? Or one of your coffee club orders. That's blackriflecoffee.com, promo code Booster for 10% off. You can also find Black Rifle Coffee in grocery and convenience stores near you. Black Rifle Coffee, America's coffee. What do you say, Blaine?
So good. What do I got here? Power Llama.
You got Power Llama. Y'all go out there and order. So get the subscription too, where you know you're going to drink the coffee.
We be drinking it up here.
You know,
now.
just have them. What do you go? 40 pounds a week here at the office. 40 pounds.
I'll probably drink 4 cups a day. I'm gonna be honest. Not eating a lot. I'm just killing coffee. That's what I'm doing.
We got Jason Whitlock coming up here soon. We're also going to talk about the most overrated college football players of all time,
I can't wait for that.
to Blaine's best friend, ChatGPT. Is that what it is, ChatGPT? Yeah, that's your best friend, the AI generated.
That's my best friend?
All right. Also,
Great,
Danny Cannell, our boy Danny Cannell is coming on next Tuesday.
DK.
Don't miss our episode next Tuesday following Memorial Day. And while we're talking about stuff, go out and buy the candles. Buy the candles.
Buy the candles.
You might have already
bro.
bought all the candles, but if you haven't, go get the Crane and Company candles at the Daily Wire.
Mine's
shop.
coming out soon.
Yes.
You know, it's a cinnamon type.
A real
of thing.
fireball.
A little fireball. Action,
Fireball.
You know, festive.
We should just light the candles on set.
I think so. Just dim the lights.
Yeah.
Huh?
Anything else in there before we get to Jason Whitlock?
I mean, we could get some King Don Sobek says, I'm a boxer. Just let me say, judging boxing is so difficult. It's hard enough for me to figure out if I can hit the guy, let alone someone who's sitting outside the ring.
Who said that? King Don?
That's King Don Sobek.
All right, so King Don, we have call-ins tomorrow, and we have call-ins next week, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I want you to call in, especially before this Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. fight. Call in and let's talk about the scoring for judges when it comes to boxing, and let's talk a little UFC as well, because I want to know what he's seeing when he's watching a boxing match.
All right, let's go to Matty Ice, 1994. UFC is a lot better with the judges' scorecards. With boxing, there's too many rounds to fill a fighter out, so sometimes it's up in the air who wins that round.
Okay, all right, say that one more time.
Okay, UFC is a lot better with the judges' scorecards. With boxing, there's too many rounds to fill a fighter out, so sometimes it's up in the air who wins that.
Okay, so that's really interesting because I thought with more rounds in boxing, it should be easier to determine wins and losses because you have more rounds to take into consideration. But maybe there is something to the fact that the UFC rounds are so much longer that you can really see who's like dominated that round. I think there is something to that.
All right, let's get to
one more here. We're going to get Jason Whitlock in.
This one more. Chris Walton, capital N, baby. The referee saved Conor McGregor's career by stopping Floyd from knocking him through the ropes. I don't know.
Floyd in the boxing match?
I don't think that would have hurt Conor's career. It's boxing.
Well, by that time, he was kind of already,
he was done. Have you watched his Netflix?
Not yet. I saw it. We paused on it yesterday to watch it because there wasn't an NBA game, but I had to watch the rest of that Canes
it was so
game
good.
just to see because they were starting to come back.
I watched the first episode of it, man.
But on the Conor fight, look, I'm glad we got that Conor and Floyd fight, right? And again,
100%.
Floyd Mayweather is probably one of the smartest athletes of all time. I know 50 Cent said he can't read a book, but you want to talk about strategic and thinking about how the best ways to make money and manage your brand, that's Floyd Mayweather to a T. So he knew the best time to catch Pacquiao in his fight. He knew the best time to get Conor McGregor.
Logan Paul.
He knew what sport to get Conor in. You're not going over to the octagon.
He ain't walking in the octagon,
Get into the boxing ring. But on the knocking him out part, like Floyd wasn't, at that point in his career, not a knockout guy. Look, he's a counter puncher, and you're never going to touch me.
Yeah, you're not knocking, even with his knockout power, I don't think he's knocking out Conor.
I don't think so either, even in his prime.
Like Conor, did Conor ever get knocked out in the UFC?
That I can't.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I know.
I thought he did. Did he not?
I think he got knocked out.
He lost everyone by decision?
Or submission, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant.
Oh boy, the Russian bear.
Got him. Yeah, got him right here.
Got him right here.
All right. Well, y'all keep letting us know on the UFC boxing. We'll start breaking it down and talking about it more. But our friend Jason Whitlock over at the Blaze, we got a chance to sit down with him yesterday. Let's run this, please. All right, friends. David Cohn here. Blaine Crane there. Jake still on his honeymoon, I believe at least, right? Somewhere in Paris. Our boy's in Paris, Jason. We got him hitched, but we're honored to welcome back our friend, Mr. Jason Whitlock. What's going on, Jason?
Not a lot. I've been following Jake's wedding over Twitter and social media. Happy for him. That's awesome.
That is awesome. It was a great time down there in Alabama. And first of all, can I just say, sir, you're looking mighty fit. Mighty fit.
Absolutely.
I've been on a little bit of struggle. I'm back on the grind the last 2 weeks, but I had been struggling for a month or two. But yeah, I'm back on it pretty hard.
Looking good, man. Look, we want to talk about a lot of issues because it's been a while since we had you on, but your name came up this week with Michigan football. Now, Michigan football's most legendary coach is Bo Schembechler. And Bo Schembechler's son got hired this past week to be the assistant director of recruiting, Shimmy Schembechler. For full disclosure, I played quarterback at Michigan, and I knew Coach Bo. I was in the room for Coach Bo's final speech the night before he passed away, but I do not know Shimmy Schembechler. I have not met him. I don't know what type of person he is, but he apparently had to resign because of allegations of liking racist posts on social media. I did some digging, Jason, because normally when something's so racist, that's the headline, but I couldn't find any details. Come to find out, a couple of those posts were on your thread, as well as Thomas Sowell, who is one of the foremost economists of the last century. So I had to just get your take on this. Do you have any inside information on what went on here?
Inside information, no, but it's a situation I've been following rather closely. I worked in Ann Arbor. It was one of the early sports writing jobs I had, covering the Fab Five basketball team and Gary Moeller's Michigan Wolverine football teams. My head coach at Ball State University was a longtime Bo Schembechler's assistant named Paul Shadell. He was the offensive line coach for Bo Schembechler for a dozen years or so. And so our whole program at Ball State was modeled after Michigan. And Paul Shadell's son, his name is also Glenn. So a little bit of history with the University of Michigan, interested in this story and topic. And I was involved in terms of my tweets started a thread that of one of the things that Shimmy liked over Twitter, and the guy didn't do anything wrong, and he's liking tweets that involve me, Thomas Sowell, who is not just an economist. Thomas Sowell's one of the greatest historians in American history, and he's one of the leading public intellectuals. He's a black dude. He and I were sharing our thoughts, and someone else chimed in, and Schembechler likes the tweet or whatever, but conservative black thought is illegal, I guess, in America and over social media. And as best I could tell, because I did some digging, it felt like to me that there is some person that was involved with a Michigan blog that is a he, him pronoun person, a transgender type person who stirred this controversy and brought attention, like, look at what Schembechler has liked. How dare Michigan, hire him? And these universities and executives and coaches do what they've been trained to do in this environment. They just fold up really quick and fire anybody that's involved in any type of controversy. I think it's an outrage. I think it's a shame. I don't think, Glenn Schembechler did anything wrong here. He certainly hasn't done anything racist. And I hate to even see the media frame it as racist. That's an incredible smear against the guy for liking tweets and the wisdom of Thomas Sowell and Jason Whitlock. I think they got a pretty hard claim to make that, me and Thomas Sowell hate black people.
Yeah, well, I thought about this issue a lot on Sunday night because naturally I don't want to be insensitive if I missed something and this guy did, do something that was racist.
No.
But, so what we talked about on Monday, Blaine and myself, is that one of two things. Either one, I did miss something and these, he was liking tweets that were racist, in which case, how did he get hired in the first place and who's going to be held accountable for that hiring? Or two, he didn't actually like anything that contained racial bias and we're just using racism now as a catch-all to keep from having nuanced conversations that are more of a political nature.
He liked a tweet that had something to do with Thomas Sowell making the point that even through slavery and segregation and Jim Crow, the black family was in a better condition during slavery and Jim Crow than it is now. And Thomas Sowell was making that point. Someone else came in and made a additional observation along those same lines. He liked the tweet. He did nothing wrong. There's Steve Dace, who works with me here at the Blaze, tweeted out a picture of himself with Robert Kennedy Jr. When Robert Kennedy Jr. was here in town and at my studio, Steve Dace was here, took a picture with him. And Steve Dace said, look, as long as this dude doesn't go trans, he's worth considering as a presidential candidate. Schembechler liked that tweet. And I think that's what triggered the blogger who has he, him pronouns in his bio. And that's what started all this. And Michigan folded. Look, men are just weak, man. We don't fight for anything. We just fold up quick and do what's best for our survival. And we throw a guy like Glenn Schembechler under the bus so that we can keep collecting checks. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, Steve Dace, a friend of the show as well, another Michigan guy. Yeah, hey, you, me, and Steve, man, we could hit a Michigan game this fall for sure.
I'm telling you, Michigan fans, y'all are just everywhere.
We're everywhere. I told you, we're out here.
I mean, good times to make weak men. So that brings me to a guy today that the police checked up on. That's John Morant. A welfare check after an Instagram post. John Morant had a couple run-ins on Instagram, throwing guns on videos, got suspended. Right now, John Morant slowly, I don't know if he wants to play basketball or turn into a rapper, but I guess we're going to see. Do you see John Morant slowly turning into Antonio Brown?
That's a great question and a great analogy. It's appropriate. Antonio Brown, one of the biggest talents to play wide receiver in NFL history, blew up the end of his career because he just couldn't discipline himself and walk between, the yellow lines, the white lines, whatever. And John Morant seems to be headed down that path as well. Great talent, great future ahead of him, but just flat out an idiot and someone so immersed and so caught up in hip hop culture and identity in hip hop and trying to be a wannabe rapper, trying to be the Tupac Shakur of basketball or the next iteration of Allen Iverson, and it's just not going well. I'm not sure if things are going to improve. These guys get showered with so much money, it doesn't feel real. It's monopoly money to them. He signed a $200 million contract. He probably has a big shoe deal as well. And so, he feels like his life is set, and to some degree it is. They can't take all the money back. And so he's going to be a hard guy to corral and discipline and get to walk the straight and narrow. I don't know what the Memphis Grizzlies or what the NBA does with him. This thing could turn really tragic, though, if they don't. Because when you portray yourself publicly as, hey, I carry a gun, I'm willing to pull it out, I'm a hard guy. When you're living in Memphis, a city that has no problem shooting and killing young black men, and you present yourself that way, you're courting trouble. Some real thug in Memphis could easily get in conflict with Ja Morant and shoot and kill Ja Morant, or Ja Morant could spark something where he has to pull out his gun and shoot and harm someone. Ja Morant, Antonio Brown's, I'm going to give you another NFL receiver that he could really mirror, is Ray Caruth. And, Ray Caruth spent time in jail for, a long time in jail for orchestrating the murder of his pregnant girlfriend or pregnant ex-girlfriend. This could have a real bad ending for Ja Morant.
Well, Memphis is one of the places where, if you want to act gangster, your gangster will get tested. Yeah. And let's not forget, it's not, Ja Morant didn't come from a terrible background. Hell, he went to a better high school than I did, which was a private school. Situation. So it's a little Clarence 8 Mile. He went to a private school. So, I wish the best for Ja Morant, but he's walking down a road right now. There's not a lot of people probably in Ja Morant's life that's telling him no.
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot of people, sure, do whatever you want. It's all about who you hang out with, too.
Yeah, no doubt. Jason, I got to be honest with you. Before this week, I had never heard of the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. Yeah. All right, now I'm fully aware now, drag queens who dress as nuns, and they are going to receive a Community Hero Award, Jason, by the LA Dodgers at Pride Night next month. It's not just the Dodgers, it's not just Major League Baseball. We see, every sports franchise is so intrinsically tied now with these LGBTQ pride initiatives. Many of these players in major leagues are Catholic themselves, especially with the Dodgers. Manager Dave Roberts, what do you say to your fans and listeners, because we get it all the time, who want to give up on professional sports and turn it off because it no longer aligns with their values?
I'm almost there.
Yeah.
I'm almost there. It's harder and harder for me every year to watch sports. And when I say professional sports, it even gets difficult with me with college sports. It's the commercials that run, because I don't like commercial television because you have to deal with the commercials that run. And so many of them are against my values. The cowardice of athletes not to stand on their faith and speak out against this bothers me greatly. I don't like the athletes or respect them the way that I used to. I ignore virtually all of the NBA regular season. I just can't take it. I stomach the playoffs, mostly because I like to watch LeBron James lose and root against him. And then even with the NFL, it's a bit of a struggle for me. I still watch, but I just don't like the athletes because I think they're phony. I think they're controlled by social media. I think they're unwilling to take any stance that their handlers disagree with. They're just all obsessed with popularity over social media. And so this pride thing, I think, is really going to come to a head, just connecting it to what's going on with Target, what's going on with Bud Light. The beer commercials have been so associated with sports, and we're just 7-8 days now from June 1, where it's Pride Month, and we're going to get it all shoved down our face in sports and everywhere. But those of us that are sports fans, it's going to get shoved down our face everywhere. And I'm reaching a breaking point. You know, people love to hear me talk about sports. I love talking about sports, but the likability of the athletes just isn't the same with me. That they're just too woke.
Not like in the Jim Brown days.
Yeah, true. It's just with woke stuff, especially when it comes to beer commercials, you see in the Dodgers, it's almost like they like losing money, all right? Because you saw what happened with Bud Light, right? You saw what happened, even Miller Lite with that commercial. Now you're seeing it with the Dodgers. You know, like as fans of the team, even at the marketing people behind the organization, that you're gonna lose money, but you still keep pushing this agenda. That's what I don't understand about it. Like, well, why?
Yeah, it doesn't match the
I'm not
demographic.
sure. I'm not sure that they're losing money though, and I say that to obviously Bud Light is because there's an orchestrated attack and boycott of them. But as it relates to the Dodgers and just most of these companies, we've printed so much money and put so much money into the economy, so much fake money, fraudulent, inflated dollars. The economic ramifications for the kind of stupidity we're seeing just aren't the same because there's so much fake money out there, and so it almost feels like they're doing this because they're getting paid to do it, and so maybe there's some check or there's advertising dollars funneled through other companies and other businesses and corporations that they get that it offsets whatever they may lose in the short term. I don't know. When I look at the Dodgers, they've done the math and said, you know what? If we stand on our principles and do what's right, we're going to lose more money that way rather than apologizing to this group that, mocks Catholicism and mocks nuns. I think they've done the math and said, we're better off surrendering to the pride group because we'd lose more money that way.
One of the things I said yesterday, and you stop me if I'm wrong, fans are no longer the customers. The fans' eyeballs are part of the product now. The multi-billion-dollar corporations and sponsors are now the customers, and they're making a bet. They're betting they can do what they want, and you will not turn the television off. And we saw this with the Atlanta Braves. The Braves had nothing to do in 2021 with Georgia voter laws. I was living in the city at that time. I lost money when Major League Baseball stripped the All-Star game from Atlanta. And I think you see these other teams around the country saying, is it really worth it to fight? That might be us not being able to host a Final Four or a Super Bowl or an All-Star game.
I think you've nailed it exactly. The penalties for standing on your values are so extreme, and again, the NBA, Disney, ESPN, so invested in the woke left, LGBTQ, Alphabet Mafia, Black Lives Matter agenda that they will stop at nothing. Again, the situation in Atlanta where they take the All-Star, that is crazy. And no exec wants to be responsible for making the decision that cost our city or cost our team some opportunity. And everybody just kicks the can down the road and just hopes that the trouble goes someplace else and they survive. And again, that's why I talk a lot about on my show about like the weakness of men. We don't take bullets anymore. We don't stand for anything. Roger Goodell, all these executives, all they want to do is survive and keep. Roger Goodell wants to keep $50 million a year flowing into his pockets. Yeah. And so he's not going to make any tough, controversial decisions. He's not going to stand for anything. He's standing for his survival and to keep that money flow going into his bank account.
Handcuffed by the almighty dollar. All right, one more here. We are with Mr. Jason Whitlock over at The Blaze. This Brittany Griner situation, Jason, is one of the more fascinating sports stories of my lifetime. I mean, we know, she spent 10 months over there in Russia for trying to take hashish oil or something of that nature in. This is a person who 3 summers ago couldn't be bothered to come out of the locker room for the national anthem. And this past week, upon her return to the WNBA, has said, no, this hits different now. You know, my take on it was it shouldn't take 10 months in a Russian gulag for the national anthem and America to hit different. You know, what are your thoughts here moving forward on her new stance?
I'm going to go a little bit different, Dave, and say, because these are my profound thoughts on Brittany Griner. The NBA, ESPN, the Biden administration are incredibly invested in turning her into a major star and a major influencer. No one cares about Brittany Griner as a basketball player. She plays an unattractive style of ball. She's tatted up. She looks crazy. No one's interested in her. ESPN keeps pumping out stories. The Biden administration has set her up as some kind of spokesman for bringing our prisoners home from abroad. It's all about making Brittany Griner a major influencer, and that's really all about the alphabet mafia and the LGBTQ. They want a big, prominent lesbian influencer out there that all the kids have to celebrate and we all have to treat as if she's important. She plays her first game in Los Angeles. Half the arena is empty. The TV ratings for the WNBA are no good. No one's interested in Brittany Griner. They're shoving her down our throat as a part of the LGBTQ agenda. And again, a lot of the promotion of women's sports right now, particularly as it relates to basketball, is about uplifting a segment of the sports world that is highly LGBTQ and making them important influencers for young people. It's everything that we're seeing is about uplifting the LGBTQ and making them the primary influencers. If you got some kind of gender identity issue, if you're trans, if you're gay, if you're queer, or whatever it is, you're the most important person on the planet. You're going to be the press secretary for the president. You're going to be the assistant secretary of health. You're going to be some basketball player that no one cared about, who did something stupid in Russia. And now I'm supposed to pretend like you're important. Now I'm supposed to pretend like you're patriotic. You're the ultimate athlete. Miss me with all of it.
It's the only time you ever heard of a WNBA player in the headlines about getting traded.
just think, for the Merchant of Death, the worst trade in sports history.
Yeah, traded for John Wick.
Yeah, just think that about all the commercials. And again, this is where I go back to the commercials in sports. I don't know if you guys are noticing, but just pay attention to how many WNBA players that you have no idea who they are that are popping up in commercials. Charles Barkley's got some Ruffles commercial. I'm not sure who is it. Maybe it is Candace Parker, but it seems like I keep seeing WNBA players who I don't even know who they are in all these commercials. And it's like, how are they helping the brand? Or is the brand helping and trying to promote them and trying to funnel money and celebrity and influence to them by making them stars? No one's buying Ruffles potato chips because some NBA player that you never watch is on there. It's all orchestrated.
I'm just trying to at least be optimistic. Since the trade has already happened and America has been made weaker, that we can't argue about, that maybe some pro-American sentiment could come from this. But I think maybe the best we can hope for, the best maybe, is just that America doesn't get criticized for a couple months by Brittany Griner. And that's sad that that's sort of the best we can hope for. But Mr. Jason Whitlock, it is an honor, my friend. Please tell people where they can find you.
Thank you, guys. You can find me at youtube.com/Jason Whitlock, or my Fearless with Jason Whitlock, wherever you listen to podcast, over at Apple. Hit the subscribe, hit the likes. I'll end on this note. Go Blue.
Go Blue. I love to hear that. You know, we're in the same city, buddy. Let's get a round of golf or at least a lunch in, please.
Will do. Thank you, David. Appreciate
it. Yes, sir. Go Blue, baby.
We all stop.
Let's go everywhere.
We all stop.
Everywhere.
We all stop.
Okay.
This. Here we go.
We don't care.
Good. Good.
We don't care if the school is just firing people without cause and hiring
Hey, y'all got
female
that one
quarterback
TV coach out
coaches
here.
and you know what?
Throw it!
We're out there. What's the chat saying?
All right, we got some donations that I probably missed, to be honest. But hey, you're in the trust tree. I
Also,
love you
big
guys.
thanks to Jason Whitlock for coming on.
Absolutely. Let's go to Max Irwin. $5 donation. Max, thank you. All right, it says, good morning, fellas. As a Reds/Colts fan, which of my teams has the best chance of making the playoffs first? Luckily, both teams are in weak divisions.
Yeah, that is true. Man. I would have to say that.
How bad are the Reds right now?
The Colts, right?
How bad are the Reds right now?
Let's look it up real quick. Let's look up the standings here.
How bad are you? You're bad. Okay, you're last in the NL Central, 21-28.
21-28.
I mean,
look, I would say the Colts hands down, but I just don't believe in Anthony Richardson. I don't think he's going to be the guy to lead you to the playoffs.
Ever in his career.
Not really.
Not the playoffs one time. Well, the thing about, God, it's so tough.
Well,
because the Colts are like.
I'm not saying he can't do it. We're just talking about what's more likely to happen first, right?
Yeah.
I mean, first of all.
I don't know if it's. The Reds are bad.
But the ceiling is so high.
I know. That's
the
what
ceiling
I'm
is so high. It's
3 to 4 years. I don't think the Reds are making the playoffs anytime soon. Anytime soon. So what's surrounding the Colts? Like, their offensive line, especially 2 years ago, was phenomenal. The best in the league. You got Jonathan Taylor, right? Our running back. You got some good pieces at receiver. Your defense is not terrible. I think it all comes down to what Anthony Richardson pans out to be.
So if it's just make the playoffs, I think that's right.
I think it's the Colts.
Because with Anthony Richardson, with the ceiling and the floor, it's probably either never makes the playoffs or he's an MVP type guy and does what Cam and Lamar Jackson. I don't think there's an in-between.
I agree.
Either.
Let's go to Joseph Lavelle, $5 donation. Oh, gosh. Who would win the Conn Smith MVP of the playoff? Smythe?
Yeah.
Excuse me. Jack Eichel, Sergei Bobrovsky, or Matthew Tkachuk? Tkachuk? Can we get some easier names, people? Goodness gracious. Like one of those kids in a spelling bee, I'm writing on the back of the card.
Kachuk.
Up here. Goodness
Kachuk,
gracious.
Who had the game winner?
There should be a poll tomorrow too, Blaine. Who's gonna win the MVP of the playoffs? Good God. Can you just not be named John Smith?
Well, first of all, I'm proud of you, okay? And this is why, with us being new to hockey, this is just some hurdles that we're going to have to get over. First of all, let's just see if the Golden Knights, close out their series. I mean, being up 3-0 isn't the same as already
it's a
one-year series. So the Panthers have already closed theirs. I know it looks that way, but let's just
go ahead and get that Stanley Cup. All right, you can take it down to Florida. All right, look, DeSantis.
Can we play the finals
DeSantis
first?
Announced. Panthers are going. Everything's happening. Florida's hot right now.
But the way that Bobrovsky is playing in goal for the Panthers.
Dude, he's cold.
I don't know what the history is or, with goaltenders winning that trophy with the Conn Smythe with the MVP. I don't know if that's standard or if it's sort of like a defensive thing with the Heisman, but the way this guy is playing. The Panthers, I was just looking this up last night. The Panthers have won 11 of their last 12. Okay, we had a sweep here of the Hurricanes. All right, they went 4 out of 5 with the Maple Leafs. Maple Leafs finally got one in Game 4, and then won the last 3 against the Bruins when that one went 7.
I'm telling you, they're playing on a different level right now.
Unreal.
We're mind mouthing.
But if Vegas were to sweep the Stars, they could go in with momentum too. What's next?
All right, we got a little new name here in the chat. Well, not new. Half of it's new. All right, Reed Crane.
Reed Crane's in the chat.
Reed Crane is in the chat. She says, cheers, Booster. Drinking a bottle of champagne for you and Champagne, France. Jake FaceTimed me this morning. Right when he FaceTimed me, he showed me I don't know what you call them, but the fields where they grow the stuff for the champagne.
Vineyard?
Vineyard is $2.5 million an acre. They were on top of a hill, dude. It was almost like the golf course we went to.
They're in Champagne, France, drinking champagne. Golly, there's a song.
I mean, I think the boys made it. I think the boy finally made it.
All right, man. Hey, I want to get to something here.
Good.
Our friends over at 247 Sports had ChatGPT, your best friend, the artificial intelligence, great listener. The AI create a list of the top 10 most overrated college football players of all time. We need to talk about this. Can we go through this list a little bit?
Okay.
All right. First of all, top of the list here, most overrated college football players of all time, according to artificial intelligence. Tim Tebow,
100%.
the number one.
100%.
Well, there's no way.
100%.
Okay.
100%. Dave, seriously?
Tim Tebow?
100%.
Tim Tebow?
100%.
Two natties and a Heisman Trophy?
100%. 100%. Over Tim. 100%.
Give you Danny Warfel over Tim Tebow.
Look, Tim wasn't even the best player on his team.
Who was the best player on his team?
Percy Harvin.
No.
Carlos Dunlap.
No.
Brandon Spikes.
No.
100%. Dude, I'm telling you. Tim, the reason Tim,
Maybe Brandon Spikes.
the reason Tim's like numbers were so, especially when it comes to touchdowns, it's just short yardage.
What are you talking about here, man?
Not an elite thrower.
His Heisman year, he had 3,200 yards passing. He had 32 touchdowns and 6 picks. That doesn't even count.
Do you know how good this Florida team was?
900 rushing yards.
Why do you play in the NFL in?
We're talking about college football.
Why do you play in the NFL in?
We're talking about college football. He was a
I'm
great
taking
college
Johnny
football
Manziel
player.
over Tim Tebow. I'm taking Matt Leinart. Vince Young and Cam Newton are just better versions of Tim Tebow.
Hold on. You're taking Matt Leinart over Tim Tebow?
Yes. Yes. What Tim did back in the day, that's when like the running quarterback just started happening. That stuff wouldn't work today.
What are you talking
That stuff
about?
wouldn't work. He was not an elite thrower enough today to be a top-tier quarterback in college.
Well, I don't necessarily disagree. I understand what you're saying on that point, but what about Cam then? What about Cam Newton?
Cam did it by himself. Cam could throw the hell out of it.
I know, like having I know that, but I'm just saying, like,
do you know who was on these teams?
3,200 yards.
Do you know who was on these teams?
They were really
with
good.
Tim Tebow?
And Urban Meyer. But why does that get held against him?
It
The
doesn't
most
get held
overrated.
against him.
This
I'm
could just
saying
as easily be the top 10 college football.
To me,
player
I
of all
think
time.
you could have a realistic conversation whether you take him or Chris Leak.
Of what?
Who's better?
Okay, well, first of all, Chris Leak was really good. See, Chris Leak needs to be on the most underrated. Chris Leak never gets talked about. And on that first national championship team, one thing that I do always have to remind Florida fans especially is Chris Leak was the starting quarterback on that first one. Tim Tebow was getting brought in on short yardage situations, but nonetheless, he still played as a true freshman. They won the Natty. He won the Heisman his sophomore year. They
shouldn't have won it. Darren McFadden should have won it.
Okay, first of all, that's false. But second of all, that year they did have a slip up in the Citrus Bowl. They did lose the Citrus Bowl.
Did you watch Darren McFadden play?
I did. He was really good. So Tim Tebow shouldn't have even won a Heisman Trophy.
Deserved that more than Darren McFadden?
So Tim Tebow shouldn't have won a Heisman Trophy.
No.
Okay.
No.
And not the Natties either. Not the national.
No, the Natties
No,
are fine.
he should have won the
Look,
national.
shout out to Charlie
Tim
Strong.
Tebow, you're
shout out
trash.
to Charlie Strong and that defense. That was elite. Elite.
I will say
everywhere
this.
on that team.
The only
was elite.
argument you could possibly make that would bring me over to your side is to say that Tim Tebow and the Florida Gators just couldn't get it done in the 2008 Citrus Bowl against Michigan. All right. So the one time I played against him, I won. I feel good about it.
Look, ChatGPT's right. Tim Tebow's overrated.
All right.
The other ones I don't.
I'm not even going to entertain this.
I don't. Brady Quinn.
Johnny Manziel, number 2. How do you feel about your boy?
I don't like it. I don't like it.
You don't like it?
I don't like it. Johnny, what was Johnny bad at?
No, Johnny was terrible. He shouldn't have won the Heisman
What was Johnny
Trophy.
bad at?
That's exactly. So Tim Tebow's number 1 and Johnny Manziel's here number 2.
It doesn't make sense.
Players?
Well, like that one doesn't make sense to me. Like you can go down this. I get one. One I get. Tim Tebow.
You know what? Let's at least say this at the start, though. I hate this term overrated because it has very little to do with the player's performance and more to do with what we're talking about with expectations.
Yes.
So are you just saying that with Tim Tebow, the hype was so much bigger than how good you can't be saying he was a bad football player.
No, he's a good football player.
Okay.
I'm not saying
You're just
that.
saying the hype.
Yeah, it was just the speeches and like taking over in the fourth quarter. Like no.
So you just think he's lame?
No. I think
You just think
I think he's
lame.
somewhat fake. I think he's
But
somewhat
what does that have to do with
I think he's overrated too. Okay. Well, everyone thought he was just walking on water in college when one wasn't a great thrower, right? He just ran the hell out of it, and the teams that he played with were the best.
Well, I mean, it's
would you rather have Johnny Manziel or Tim Tebow?
Playing the quarterback position isn't just about throwing the ball well.
Okay, well, it needs to be part of it.
He used his legs.
He needs to be part of it.
I get it, but
Would you take him or Johnny?
But to answer your question on the NFL level, that's why he wasn't a great NFL quarterback.
Would you take him or Johnny Manziel?
I would take Tim Tebow. I don't want the toxic. I don't want the toxic.
Would you take him or Vince Young?
I would take Tim Tebow.
No, you wouldn't.
I would take Cam Newton over him, though.
I'd take Cam Newton over all these guys.
I would take Joe Burrow over him.
Yeah, duh. You take Danny Warfel over him.
No, I would not.
Yes, you would.
All right, Johnny Manziel, number 2, you don't agree with. Matt Leinart, number 3. Matt Leinart, number 3.
I guess the only knock on Matt Leinart is just,
I can see Matt Leinart being on this list. I still don't like it. I still don't like this term overrated and all that, but I can see Matt Leinart being on this list a little bit more just because of some of the comments you made about Tim Tebow. You want to talk about being on great teams.
For sure.
Those USC teams.
For sure, 100%.
Bush was carrying a heavy load. They had great wide receivers. So I can see that more. Vince Young, what's Vince Young doing on this list?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I mean,
I don't know what's happening.
Well, there's another guy who didn't have a great NFL career. Again, this is.
But Vince wasn't a bad thrower of the football.
He wasn't an elite thrower of the football, or he would have starred in the NFL.
And I don't think the teams. The teams were good with Vince, but not to the same level of Tim Tebow.
So you don't think he should be on this list?
I think he's a better thrower of the football. I think he's a hell of a lot better runner, and I think he's a better overall quarterback than Tim Tebow.
So next, Reggie Bush. Like
what?
This is what gives me faith that artificial intelligence may not be taking over so soon. You got Reggie Bush on the most overrated college football player.
Yeah, I don't know.
You made a mistake.
How's Jadeveon Clowney overrated?
Jadeveon Clowney?
Snap it.
Is this? I thought this list was overrated.
Yeah, Brady Quinn, I get.
I can understand Brady Quinn.
I get that.
I can understand Brady Quinn being on that list.
Ron Dane, I didn't really get to watch Ron Dane in and out.
Yeah.
I've seen his highlights and everything, but Manti Te'o was a good player.
I can see. Hold on.
He's a good player, but he's so overhyped with whatever thing happened with him.
Isn't Ron Dane didn't have
Brian
Dane have the most like top 3 in rushing yards of all time? So I mean, Ron Dane as a freshman, 2,100 rushing yards.
Okay. Yeah. That's right. Chris Walton said Rob Dane, Rob Michael Vick of the Heisman.
2,100 rushing yards and 21 TDs as a freshman. 2,000 rushing yards as a senior with 20 TDs. 7,100 career rushing yards for Ron Dane. So, yeah, pretty good. Manti Te'o. Let's talk about Manti Te'o for a second because the whole you want to talk about like outside PR blowing up with the girlfriend situation and like driving that narrative. Maybe that's what could lead to him being on the most overrated list just because of all the outside publicity, but still a freak show linebacker.
Oh, well,
a great football player.
Yeah, Manti Te'o was a solid linebacker, and I think the reason he's on this list is because everything you just said is what happened with the doc. Even before that, man, I still don't know. I felt, especially after watching the documentary, I felt so bad.
I did too.
Because I
want to get Manti Te'o.
I would love to get him on.
Yeah.
I would love to get him on. He's a great person.
Brian Bosworth's the last one on this list.
Didn't really get to watch
Oklahoma. I don't know about this one. Just because I didn't live through the hype and like get to see all of his tape and stuff like that. But I mean,
I know Bo Jackson ran through his ass in the NFL.
That did happen. So who would you put on this list then?
God,
I don't mind Brady Quinn being on
Tim Tebow needs to stay exactly where he is.
I mean, Matt Leinart and Brady Quinn were great college quarterbacks for sure. But I could see them being on here at least. Tim Tebow does not belong on this list. At first, I was thinking Sam Bradford might be a little overrated.
Sam was a dog.
But that 1 year, what did he have? He had 4,800 yards.
Sam was a dog.
50 touchdowns.
If his knees would have held up.
Yeah. So even him, I can't put on here.
I remember that. Speaking of Tim Tebow and Sam Bradford, you remember that game?
Yeah,
dude. I tell you what.
These were my. Tim Tebow was my year, man.
Patrick Rainey, Chris Thompson. They had another guy. Just Aaron Hernandez. Aaron Hernandez was on those teams too.
Mm-hmm.
Like those Florida teams. Like I think realistically, from a roster standpoint, you could stack them up with the best.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Bama teams and that LSU team that won. If you took the
but a big reason for that is Tim Tebow, and he was a good team leader too.
For sure, great team leader. Like the golden child. That's what he was in college. Walking on water. But I think, right, you put Johnny Manziel on that team, you're winning a lot of games. I think you put Brady Quinn on that team. You're probably winning most of your games. I think that roster is
most of your games. That's different than two natties in 3 years.
I'd say it'd be close.
Trophy.
I'd say it'd be close with Brady Quinn on that team.
Brady Quinn. All right, so Brady Quinn's one on here that didn't get a Heisman. Obviously, Jadeveon Clowney didn't get one. Vince Young.
Oh, Riley Cooper was on that team too. Absolute dog. Riley Cooper was an absolute dog. One of my favorite. I love watching those Florida teams, man. Like, I was like, you play with him in NCAA.
I didn't.
It's like 97
didn't.
speed, 96 speed, 97 speed. Just an absolute freak show overall.
All right, well, those are our friends, 247 Sports over there. They had ChatGPT make the most overrated college football player list. Tell us, please, in the comments, tell Blaine that he is out of his mind for thinking Tim Tebow is overrated, no matter what you think about the guy personally, okay? No. See, you're forcing it.
Overrated.
You're forcing it. What is the chat saying?
All right, let's go to Blake Gleaton, $2 donation. The Tim Tebow slander is outrageous.
There you go.
No, it's not.
There you go.
No, it's
not. Thank you.
Just go watch. All right, Heartbroken Hog, Blaine has lost his mind. Look, I lost my mind way before I called Tim Tebow overrated, buddy. I promise that. Jared Hallett, how can Tim Tebow be overrated, maybe underrated? He had Jesus on his side. Look, I get it. It's going to read Crane. Tebow isn't overrated in college. Second best to Cam and Phobia. I'm not there to challenge Blaine until Monday. If you think Tim Tebow, Reed, I love you. All right? So happy for y'all having a great time. But I want you to look your husband in the eyes and say that Tim Tebow is better than Cam Newton. Then I want you to sit and watch the reaction.
I'm fully convinced that that's Jake using Reed's handle in the chat.
There's no way those words would utter. Jake wouldn't even type that.
Huh?
Jake wouldn't even.
He wouldn't?
Play it.
Hold on.
Play it.
Hold on.
I love and support you, but you're wrong.
That's so.
Actually, I have one for you. Hold on.
Easy, Blaine. You need
Easy.
to reel it in.
You need to reel it in.
Just go drink your champagne. Live the high life. Me and Conan over here working. All right. Let's go to Heartbroken Hog one more time. How's Vince Young on this list? I don't know. I don't know what the criteria was.
Reggie Bush has to be the most egregious one on there.
Yeah. Trying to think who else was on there. I think Jadeveon Clowney.
Actually, maybe
Jadeveon Clowney.
Jadeveon Clowney might be the worst because, again, not only great player, but also not all the hype. Not hyped up like those other guys. He does not belong anywhere near that list.
Let's go to Nathan Johnson. What's up, Nate? Johnny Manziel is by far the greatest college QB of all time. I don't care what anyone says. Money Manziel, Magical Manziel, the list goes on. I can't hear you. I have too much money in my hand.
Guaranteed he's a Texas A&M fan.
I don't
way.
know if Nathan is. Johnny Manziel wasn't better than Cam Newton in college. He wasn't.
Nope.
He wasn't. And Johnny Manziel was a dog. But people don't realize, Cam did it by himself.
Give me Joe Burrow, too. But it was one season. It wasn't a career.
I agree with that. It hurts to say. I don't like the way it tastes coming out of my mouth. He was good. Kayla Everett. Kayla, good to see you in here. She says, Blaine needs to turn
Get his playbook, Caitlin.
Everybody
Get his
loves Tim Tebow so much.
See, that's what's interesting. I don't necessarily love Tim Tebow. I don't love Tim Tebow. I don't know anything. I don't know Tim Tebow. I mean, look, this guy came out in the same class as me. I was trying to beat Tim Tebow at everything. Hearing this guy's the greatest year after year after year, got annoying. He was really, really good, though.
He was good.
Really good.
He was good. Let's go to
ChatGPT doesn't
Connie
need to
Ron says
disrespect
Blaine is an anti-Gator. No, I'm not. If anything, I love the Gators. One of my favorite. First, color scheme, phenomenal.
Okay, so that's what's funny because I don't care for the Gators.
I do. I like
the Gators.
Florida.
And you're out here with the Tim Tebow slander.
Florida was one of one of the teams I watched growing up. This was all the talent they had. Urban Meyer, I was a huge. I mean, you had Ahmad Black, y'all Jeff Demps, Patrick Rainey, Chris Thompson, Riley Cooper. I loved watching these teams. So I promise you, man, I'm not an anti-Tim Tebow guy. I'm not an anti-Florida guy. I still don't think Tim Tebow was an elite college football player. And you can snip that.
Someone clip that, and y'all send that.
You can put it on Twitter.
Let's have a lot of fun on Twitter today.
All right, I'll John Morant this thing. Bye.
Let's have a lot of fun on Twitter today. And while you go walk to the board
am I walking to the
tell
board
people
today?
about picks, I do want to talk about Twitter because after Matt Walsh's show was demonetized on YouTube, our friend Matt Walsh, okay, that's who we're talking about, the Daily Wire decided to release his show on Twitter, and it was so successful. Daily Wire Plus is launching shows on Twitter starting May 30th. Twitter is a free speech platform, and DW is leading the way with this change, inspired by the success we had in distributing Matt Walsh's show. So make sure to follow @Crane Company. That's @Crane Company on Twitter and all the other shows with their new Twitter handles.
Going live on Twitter, y'all.
Let's do it.
Huh? That'll be fun. I'm telling you, I'm going to have to Like I don't know what I'm gonna do with all the chats. Like I'm thinking to be like the guy from the Matrix.
Are you a Neo?
Just the guy
just reading
just the guy from the Matrix. I don't know.
What did Tom Cruise do in Minority Report? He's got the thing.
Oh yeah, with the visor on.
Just over here, and he's got the thing.
That's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. All right, Kevin, how'd you do yesterday?
1-1.
Attaboy. We'll take that.
I hit the Rays minus 1.5 after they got beat 20-1. I knew they'd bounce back.
Wow.
Then the Marlins, Rockies, Nerfy. You know, there's a simple rule in Nerfies. Don't ever take one in Colorado with the Rockies.
I took one today.
Of course, they scored in the bottom of the first.
Yeah. Well, let's everyone hit solo home runs. Made me feel great. All right. Jake's bets today are lame. That's what Jake's taking. Right. So I'm gonna go A's, Mariners, Nerfy minus 120. Logan Gilbert on the mound.
Yeah.
Logan's an absolute problem. I just think, can I have one day of going 2-0 in Nerfies? That's all I want. And then Dave, I'm falling for the trap. It's a trap. Marlins, Rockies, Nerfy.
Oh.
Plus 130. Can't wait for that not to hit. What you got, bud?
All right. I like your take there with Logan Gilbert for the Mariners. So I'm going to take Mariners to win minus a run and a half, and that's minus 110. And then I'm going to ride with the Heat money line plus 235. I mean, look, if it was minus 135, I wouldn't do it being on the road in Boston. Plus 235 with this Heat team, maybe they close it out in the Garden.
I really don't mind that bet, to be honest, where they've been playing on the road. All right, Ace Money, Ace Man, taking the Golden Knights money line. Going for the sweep, huh?
Think so, sweet.
Going for the sweep. That's minus 105. And then the Orioles money line plus 110. Are they playing the Yankees? Your son knows how to get under my skin.
What did he take?
He took the Orioles, and I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, they're playing. Oh, they're playing the Yankees.
See,
they're playing. He got the Orioles in plus money. Let's
like
go.
he always knows the way. He's coming back. He's slowly creeping up. Just come win the month. You know how he's going to do it? Betting against the Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
Like father, like son. Poll. Get to this poll. All right.
Was it Pokemon?
Who's the best Pokemon? No, I'm kidding.
Oh.
Who wins this series?
Series.
Heat. Celtics.
Heat. 70%.
Well, see, I guess you can't lose.
But I can be wrong.
I mean, it's Heat 79%.
Okay.
Celtics 21%. Great show today, dude.
Great show.
Flaming Dragon Friday tomorrow.
Flaming Dragon Friday.
So
and all access today.
All access today.
All access today. That's 11:30 Central.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 12:30
I'm
Eastern.
To treat it because look, man, you've been on your game. It's usually this one that's the problem when it comes to hitting the over. So are you a 0.5 guy
tomorrow?
1.5.
Oh, you want perfect game, David Cohn.
You
want perfect game, David Cohn tomorrow.
But see, the thing about it is like I'm gonna get you because it's
hard though because
it's the whole episode just me and you.
And I've been saying Blaine all week.
I know, like it's the whole episode just me and you. Well, I'll bump it up a little bit.
No. If we're gonna throw perfect games, let's do it. I fear it's gonna get out of the way quickly.
Okay, Texas Ed, real quick. Oklahoma QBs that are overrated: Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, and Jason White. I will say Jason White was overrated. Because that year, Auburn went undefeated with Jason Campbell, and they got beat by 50 by USC in the national championship. Had to watch his knee fall apart in the national championship.
See, I could see Jason White being on that list more than some of those other guys. Man, Oklahoma's had some good quarterbacks.
Oh, Lincoln Riley. I mean, just like the guys he brought in. I don't know. Who was there with Jason White? Was it Stoops?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Stoops was there. I mean, Oklahoma's for sure had some guys. Scott Evans says, appreciate y'all having Jason Whitlock on the show. Love Jason, man. I think he does a great job.
Good.
Ratchet Dewan says Jake and Blake should talk about Tebow when he comes back. I wonder what Jake's take would be on that.
All right, we'll get that.
Yeah. RRPP, Baker overrated, to be honest. Stacked weapons, all-time great play caller, weak defense in the conference. He was obviously great, but still kind of overrated. I don't think Baker's a really good college football player.
I do too, but like I could see him being on that list more so than others.
I think he should be on the list before Vince Young.
Yeah.
Deacon Nora, hashtag Ask Cone. That's you. All right. Give your honest opinion. Can Ohio State?
Who?
Deacon and Nora and Ohio State. You said it before, don't act like
Were they the ones trying to start the OHIO?
Don't like you haven't. All right. Beat Michigan this year.
Of course.
Go back, guys. You know what I want you to do?
Of course. They can always beat.
You know what I want you to do? I want you to give an inspiring speech on how Ohio State. Play the music. How Ohio State's going to beat Michigan this year.
I think the Buckeyes might be able to go in and play well. Of course they can win, man. It's the Ohio Buckeyes. The most formidable opponent there is. I don't care if they're going into Ann Arbor or not. Look, this whole, Michigan won back-to-back, this is still new. You blink once, they'll come in and beat you.
Look.
You know?
Look.
Like, I don't know. There's some
I want
players.
y'all to get one under your belt, though.
Me too.
Get a natty. I want you to get a natty under your belt.
Discount double check.
I still can't believe y'all lost to TCU. All right, everybody.
It was a solid Thursday, I thought. You know, a lot planned today.
It
We
was
might go
fun,
to Bed
man.
Bath & Beyond. We got all access. This guy's over here talking about Michigan and TCU.
You want me to close it out or you want it?
I want you to close it out.
All right.
And get off my lawn while you're at it.
Just like
You know what? Like the chances of me letting Blaine close out the show, we're gone.